Question 3. I have one client, who believes that soaking off all of her enhancements with the nails wrapped in foil and inside a plastic bag while placing them in a bowl of warm water is less irritating for her skin than when I wrap it in foil and place it under a 60-watt incandescent bulb. I'm worried that having the nails in a moist rather than a dry environment while soaking is a bad idea. She claims her skin is itchy the next day when we place the foils under the warming glow of the bulb. The water method takes longer, leaks, and is incredibly inefficient. I've suggested to her that we use no heat, no water, no warming lamp, but she won't listen. I buff off the top coat to break the seal, wrap her with a remover soaked in a cotton ball, and wrap her in tin foil. What do you think about all this? In general, adding heat always makes a solvent more efficient. Any nail remover will work much faster when gently warmed. Of course, it's very important to warm solvents safely, if they're flammable, like acetone is known to be. Never warm a solvent to any warmer than what I call jacuzzi temperature, about 103 Fahrenheit or 40 degrees centigrade. You don't want hot solvent. Warm solvent will work very efficiently and will be much safer. By more efficient, I mean the coating will be dissolved and removed more quickly. Just as warm water dissolves sugar faster than cold water. Water is a solvent in this case, and warming is expected to make that solvent a better solvent. Now, to answer your question, you need not worry about soaking in a moist environment. That should have no negative effect on removing of the nails. Also, you may not realize it, but the removal method you're presently using, even without the light bulb, relies on additional heat to speed up the removal process. Why? Well, the hand is pretty warm, about 98 Fahrenheit or 36 centigrade. The heat of the hand warms the acetone from room temperature up to the body temperature inside the foil wraps that you're using, and this speeds up the removal process. Even though you don't seem to care for the water method that you described, I think it's a very good idea if done properly. Why? Acetone will be heated evenly, safely, and very efficiently by the warm water method, which is why I recommend using it. Using warm water to warm up acetone is much safer because it avoids using electrical heat sources near the acetone, which is very highly flammable. Acetone should not be warmed in a microwave ever, or on a hot plate, not with any kind of open flame or any electrical device such as a coffee cup warmer or even a blow dryer. Floating a small plastic bottle partially filled with acetone with the cap slightly loosened inside a bowl of warm water is a very safe way to gently warm acetone. You'll note that when the warmer acetone becomes, the faster vapors are produced and the stronger the smell. Well, with more vapors in the air, it makes the acetone even more flammable. So be especially cautious to avoid any sources of open flames or spark. You should not have incense burners, candles, or other items in the salon which could ignite acetone vapors, nor should any smoking be allowed in the area. Be sure to store acetone in a cool location away from heat and direct sunlight. I'd also like to take a moment to comment on your client's itchy skin. In this case, the itchy skin is probably a form of skin irritation. Nail technicians should always be concerned when a client tells you that something is causing itching, or if you should see other signs of skin irritation, such as redness, rash, or unusual warmth in those areas. In fact, I recommend that you stop the procedure that's causing the itching and use the alternative method until you determine or discover the cause of the client's irritation. Substances that can cause skin allergy can begin with the same symptoms as simple skin irritation, and they can be very difficult to tell apart. I'd recommend erring on the side of caution in this case and assuming that the client may be in the process of developing an allergic reaction. I don't know why one method would be more irritating to the client's skin than the other, but if a client ever complains of skin irritation, the last thing you want to do is dismiss their concerns and proceed as usual. Skin irritation, redness, warmth, all these things I've mentioned are warning signs that should not be ignored. When the client tells you their skin feels unusually warm or itchy in a specific area, again, that could be a sign of an impending reaction that's developing. Allergic reactions to nail products are usually caused by prolonged or repeated skin contact with the product that are supposed to be kept off the skin. Excuse me. These kinds of adverse skin reactions, they just don't develop overnight. They're usually warning signs, as I've mentioned, so don't ignore them. All artificial nail coatings can cause adverse skin reactions, but none would ever if prolonged and or repeated contact were avoided almost all the time. Of course, accidental skin contact with the contact with the skin isn't really the issue. It's the repeated contact that causes these kind of problems. If repeated contact is always avoided, adverse skin reaction to nail products would be very rare indeed. I'll add this extra information. If the client's skin is itching while soaking their nails, this can be a sign that the nail coating is not properly cured. When nail coatings are properly cured, there's very little unreacted ingredients left over to cause adverse skin reactions. However, when undercured, nail coatings contain excessive amounts of unreacted ingredients. As the product is soaked, these unreacted ingredients can escape into the acetone, and this can cause skin overexposure to these unreacted ingredients, which in some cases can cause skin allergies or irritation if this is prolonged or repeated contact. Again, that's always going to be the case usually, is the prolonged or repeated contact, and that's what you want to avoid. How can this undercuring happen? Well, using incorrect UV nail lamps, not changing the UV bulbs on a regular basis. One way, two ways actually. Using the wrong polymer powder or too much monomer liquid in a bead while using the liquid and powder nail coatings are two very likely reasons for undercuring this type of enhancement. Avoid both these situations and make sure your nail coatings are properly cured.